Here's your wrestling news for September 6, 2021. And your headlines for today include: Daniel Bryan and Adam Cole both close out tonight's AEW All Out. CM Punk's brand new gear, how did Punk fare at All Out? Jon Moxley wins the GCW World Championship, confronted by New Japan legend after securing the win at All Out. Reason why Roman Reigns and other Smackdown stars will be on Raw. Charlotte Flair reaches impressive WWE milestone. WWE files to dissolve WWE UK Holdings Limited. Chris Jericho claims AEW will defeat WWE Raw's ratings in 4 to 6 months, and more. We're kicking off with AEW All Out, as the show's main event saw AEW World Champion Kenny Omega face Christian Cage in a match worthy of closing the pay-per-view. In the climax, it was Omega who won, retaining his title against the man who ended his Impact World title reign, but the Cleaner's night was far from over. When Omega claimed that the only people who could ever beat him are either not in AEW, too tired, or dead, the lights cut out, and Adam Cole made his AEW debut. The already dead line was presumably a reference to Being the Elite, where Cole's character was killed off prior to him joining WWE, and it appeared that Cole was set to confront the AEW World Champion. Instead, Cole heel-turned, landing a super kick on Jungle Boy after he'd come out to help Cage, and made it clear that he's part of the Elite. Cole went on to praise AEW as the best wrestling company in the world, but he wasn't the last big name to debut during All Out. After months of rumors, Bryan Danielson made his way to the stage, rocking a theme that wasn't his WWE theme, and wasn't Europe's The Final Countdown either. Let us know what you thought of Bryan's new theme, as the former WWE superstar helped the face group of Jurassic Express and Christian even the odds against the Elite. Bryan's debut had been rumored for a while, and it had been previously believed that he would debut in the Grand Slam Dynamite later this month, but now the former WWE World Champion is home in AEW. Immediately entered into the main event scene, All Out 2021 ended with Danielson, Cage, and Jurassic Express celebrating in the ring to close the show, in possibly the biggest ending to an AEW pay-per-view thus far. It's hard to think that AEW could have done better than what was produced at All Out, as the show was a knockout event of entertaining matches and moments from top to bottom. Throughout the night, AEW came across as an athletic, fun-loving company, from the crowd singing along to different themes to popping huge for the massive debuts on the show. AEW continues to go from stride to stride as they become an incredibly enjoyable way to invest one's time, and this was made clear during a near-perfect pay-per-view that had countless highs and very few lows. Arguably the most anticipated match of All Out was CM Punk vs. Darby Allin, Punk's first match in over 7.5 years. Before the show, Punk teased that he was going in a different direction with his ring gear in AEW, and that certainly was the case when the match started. Instead of his traditional wrestling trunks, Punk opted to wear long tights in his first match for AEW, but still kept the Stars aesthetic, a nod to his hometown of Chicago, Illinois. The Chicago crowd loved seeing him no matter what he was wearing, and after years of thinking they'd never see Punk wear any in-ring gear ever again, fans were ecstatic to see Punk defeat the former TNT champion and look good doing so. The match did exactly what it needed to do, as Punk needed to prove that he could still hang in the ring, making Allin the perfect opponent for him. Punk was in great shape even if the tights took some getting used to, and didn't show any ring rust, instead working a very smart match, with the story being that he needed to slow Allin down to set up for the GTS. Darby Allin is perhaps the best bump taker in wrestling today, which made him the ideal first opponent for Punk, and helped make Punk look even sharper and even more of a megastar than he was going into the match. Allin is also extremely popular, perhaps not as popular in Chicago as Punk, but the former TNT champion also got a great reaction from the crowd. A lot of new fans perhaps watched AEW for the first time tonight, and it was important that his opponent looked like a big important star as well. If there were a downside to the match, it'd be the length, as at 16 minutes long, the bout was a bit too long for Punk's return match. That being said, the pair had an incredible match together, and the future looks bright for both Punk and Allin going forward. One person who won big at All Out is Jon Moxley, who defeated Satoshi Kojima in a hard-fought match and had a huge win prior to the show. Less than 24 hours before All Out, Moxley defeated GCW World Champion Matt Cardona to win the title, toppling the former Broski in a surprise main event at GCW Art of War Games. After winning the title, Moxley was confronted by his longtime rival Nick Gage, the man Cardona dethroned to become champion, and their long-awaited world title death match has been confirmed for October 9th in Atlantic City. This loss ends Cardona's title reign at 43 days and may mark his last appearance for GCW, but now fans can look ahead to Moxley vs. Gage for the title next month. More from All Out as Miro had both his TNT Championship and his undefeated streak on the line at the show, and Eddie Kingston was very close to becoming the first man to topple the Bulgarian. In an epic opener, Kingston fell short to Miro, but this was the former superstar's toughest challenge to date, and we wouldn't be surprised if this feud continues after their epic performance last night. For now though, Miro remains the TNT champion, and on Twitter referenced Kingston's "Redeem D's Nuts" line from earlier in the week, saying that nuts have been redeemed. This got a reaction from his wife CJ Perry, aka Lana, who promised that she'd be redeeming Miro's nuts when he's back home with her. This isn't the first time the couple have been so open about their love life, as they infamously claim to have done it in their WrestleMania 31 tank. And as a champion in one of wrestling's top promotions, an avid Twitch gamer, and married to the woman of his dreams, Miro is certainly living his best life. Over to WWE now, as on the September 20th edition of Monday Night Raw, the Red Brand will see a guest appearance by the Bloodline, as Universal Champion Roman Reigns and Smackdown Tag Team Champions the USOS will be on the show. This appearance comes over 2 years since Reigns' last match on Raw, and the reason for this move has been made clear. PW Insider reports that having Reigns and the Usos on the show is to serve as replacements for Drew McIntyre and Jinder Mahal, who will both be overseas as part of the WWE's 4-date tour of the UK. It'll be interesting to see what Reigns and the Usos do in their return to Raw, but we're confident that the Tribal Chief will be headlining the show if he competes on the September 20th Raw. One person fans can expect on the September 20th Raw is Charlotte Flair, who's already the most decorated female performer in company history, but the Queen now has another accolade to her name. This week, Charlotte surpassed 1,000 days as a champion in WWE, which includes all her reigns as Raw, SmackDown, NXT Women's Champion, her time as Women's Tag Team Champion, and her time as the Last Divas Champion. The only woman better than the Queen in the numbers is Asuka, who has 1,151 days combined, but unless someone can seriously derail the Raw Women's Champion's momentum, expect Flair to one day surpass the Empress of Tomorrow. Last week, WWE disbanded their Japanese division due to managerial problems caused by the ongoing global situation, and now yet another major part of the company has been nixed. It's been confirmed that WWE has filed to dissolve WWE UK Holdings Limited, and the strike-off date was on August 25th. WWE's decision to dissolve their UK holdings comes 2 years after it was formed in July 2019, and despite the monumental change, this won't affect NXT UK. In a response to a fan on his Instagram account, NXT UK creative director Jim Smallman confirmed that NXT UK isn't shutting down, saying that WWE UK Holdings has nothing to do with the show. There's no word on why WWE UK Holdings Limited has been dissolved, but it's presumably due to budget cuts, as Nick Khan's desire to cut the company's bottom line has shown no signs of slowing down. Back to AEW, and we've already reported that Jon Moxley will soon be facing Nick Gage in a death match for the GCW World title, but that's not the only big match on the horizon for the former Dean Ambrose. After defeating Satoshi Kojima at All Out, Moxley was confronted by New Japan legend Minoru Suzuki, who received a thunderous response from the crowd in Chicago. Suzuki came to AEW for a fight and traded some heavy shots inside the ring with Moxley before choking out the GCW World Champion with a rear naked choke submission. Following up with a Gotch-style piledriver, Suzuki got the better of Moxley, who he last faced at New Japan's New Beginning in Osaka event in February 2020. It was last year that Moxley got the better of Suzuki, retaining the IWGP United States title in their match, and now the Japanese legend is looking to even the score with their match confirmed for this Wednesday's Dynamite. Also announced during the pay-per-view was the new date for AEW Full Gear. During All Out, it was confirmed that Full Gear will take place a week later than planned, meaning it'll happen on November 13th now, and we'll have to see what other matches are added to the card. And we're ending today with Chris Jericho, who knows all about working for both WWE and AEW, and is more than happy in the All Elite promotion. At last night's All Out, Jericho was able to keep his AEW career alive by beating MJF, but even if he'd lost, fans shouldn't have expected to see him back in WWE, and especially not on Raw. Speaking to Busted Open Radio, Jericho discussed WWE's premiere show and made a bold prediction about what the future holds for the Red brand. Sooner or later, we're going to start beating Raw. It's not going to be every week, but I bet you over the next 2 to 4 months, maybe 4 to 6, we're going to start beating Raw. The reason for that is we keep talking about the cool factor, but it's the storytelling. We don't panic, we don't rush, we live in our own world, and we book accordingly. Even the most diehard of WWE fans would admit that Raw's quality has taken a tumble, with the Red Show considered the worst brand in the company behind NXT and Smackdown. Time will tell if Jericho's prediction comes true, but we're sure Jericho will do all he can to make Dynamite's ratings better than Raw. Well guys, that's our news for today. Please share your comments below. Also hit the like button, subscribe to our channel, and hit the bell icon to receive all notifications. And as always, thanks for watching.